morning, everyone, and I would like to start off, first of all, by thanking the governor for his leadership on this issue and everyone in his office who is working on it. And I'd like to thank all of the college presidents for their support and their commitment. And I'd like to thank Emily and the other advocates for the important work they're doing on our college campuses. We are in the midst of a long overdue national conversation about preventing and responding to sexual assault and sexual misconduct on college universities, campuses. The national statistics are appalling, and behind each number is the story of a young person whose life has been changed forever. Virginia's colleges and universities work each and every day to be safe and welcoming places to live, learn, and work. Many Virginia schools are doing outstanding work on their own to address issues around sexual violence. But just a few weeks ago, a national publication reported that despite a flurry of activity by federal officials at Virginia's colleges, the state's lawmakers have remained on the sidelines. That inaction cannot continue, and it ends now. Today, in signing this joint declaration, Virginia's colleges and universities, Governor McAuliffe, and I are all saying in one voice, we will not tolerate sexual violence at our schools, and we will not accept a societal culture that condones it. Virginia is going to tackle this head on, and we're going to be a national leader in this conversation. We're going to look at it from every angle, from how to minimize risk, to how to step in and stop violence, to how to better address violence after the fact. We're bringing together the best knowledge and talent that we have and whatever resources are necessary to prevent sexual violence from occurring. And we're going to respect those who come forward to report it and seek justice against those who perpetrate it. If a student has been a victim, he or she should never feel further victimized by a response that is inadequate, suspicious, or judgmental. Every student in Virginia must know that if you report sexual violence or sexual misconduct, you will not be pressured, you will not be judged, and you will be treated at all times with the respect and compassion you deserve. I see this issue from a few different perspectives. As a product of Virginia schools, I know that we offer a world-class education and an opportunity to create relationships and learn lessons that will last a lifetime. As such, our institutions can and will lead on efforts to combat sexual violence. As a parent of two college-age kids, one in her 4th year and one we just dropped off at school on Monday, I worry, just like everyone else does, about whether my children are safe and making good decisions while they're away. Of all the worries parents have about their children's education, the fear of violence, victimization, or injustice after the fact should have no place. And finally, as Attorney General and the chairman of the governor's new task force on campus sexual violence, I am determined to find comprehensive tools to meet this challenge. First off, my office has started an immediate review with each college and university to implement best practices for prevention and response based on the experiences of Virginia schools, the recommendations to be developed by the task force, and policies and procedures that have already been approved by the U.S. Department of Education. We'll be looking at innovative ways to prevent sexual assault, like the Step Up Bystander Intervention training at VMI. We're going to work with schools to make sure that reports of sexual violence are met with a fair and prompt, survivor-centered response that allows for anonymous reporting and protects those who report an incident from retaliation. We'll make sure schools have appropriate campus disciplinary proceedings and coordinate effectively with campus and local law enforcement so that each one can meet their objectives. This is what VCU has done effectively with the city of Richmond and what Virginia Tech has done effectively with Montgomery County, just to name two. And we'll be making sure that the punishments handed down by the schools to those responsible for sexual violence match the seriousness of their actions. Second, we don't want there to be any confusion about what's required and what's expected. So on October 30th and 31st, my office will be hosting a statewide summit to prepare campus law enforcement officials and administrators, to implement and execute their policies. Each school will get to hear from one another about the challenges they faced and learn from each other's experiences. And we'll work through the federal requirements with them. They are complex and can be challenging to implement, but they can help our schools reach fair and just outcomes. Third, by June of next year and on an ongoing basis, the task force will announce findings and recommendations and push for action on several fronts. And finally, the fact that this joint declaration was signed by the president of every public four-year college, the chancellor of our community college system, Governor McAuliffe, and me, is an incredible show of unity and commitment. This won't be easy, but we don't have a choice. It's time to say no more to sexual violence on our campuses. We're going to make sure that our colleges and universities make the headlines they should make for groundbreaking biomedical research, for turning out world-class engineers and architects, for advancing scholarship in the arts, and for being a global magnet for talent and economic vitality. That's the Virginia I know, and that's the Virginia we want the world to know.